Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived two kings, the monarch of mighty metacognition and the emperor of egregious evidence. The emperor had a much larger kingdom than the monarch, but he used his power to spread terrible evidence throughout his kingdom, including extreme biases, fallacies, and invalid reasoning. Unfortunately, this influence spread into the monarch's smaller kingdom, affecting the innocent townspeople and ruining their writing skills. This is the tale of how three brave citizens, a jester, a duke, and a knight, realized the magnitude of these injustices and set off on a quest to educate the evil emperor and restore order to the land.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about some of your recent articles.
What about them?
Whoa, they suck.
What?
There's far too much extreme bias in these to be regarded as real journalism. The townspeople can't be allowed to read writing like this. The king will have my head.
Are you gonna print them? Are you even gonna pay me?
No, I'm sorry. You're as good as fired at this point. You've consistently failed my expectations. This isn't accurate reporting in any way.
Please, sir.
I'm sorry. The guards are here to take you now. Goodbye, Jester. Once you're out of jail, maybe you can look for a job at the Gossip magazine.
Rejected?
Yeah.
Why have I been rejected? My resume was perfect.
Are you serious? This is terrible. I've genuinely never seen someone so incompetent to be a knight.
What?
Are you serious? Are you kidding? It's completely overrun with unnecessary details, invalid reasoning, not to mention you used the wrong your.
I command you to give me this position. I deserve it.
And I command you to get out.
Oh yeah? Make me.
Guards?
What the heck? Hey, you!
Sir, would you like to tell me why half of our treasury disappeared overnight?
Your Majesty, as you have placed me in charge of our funds, I have made the executive decision to buy 6,702 candles.
Why?
Well, with all due respect, this castle smells like a steaming pile of garbage.
Yeah. Was it necessary to buy so many, though?
Your Majesty, me buying candles is just the same as you buying yourself food. Completely necessary.
I don't understand how you believe this amount of candles is necessary.
It's necessary because I need them!
Yeah, you said that.
Well, let's not forget how you fed this peasants not one, but 2 meals last month. And you know what? That's too many.
Yeah, that is true. But this is absurd. You should be ashamed of what you've done.
Well, you know what? You're stupid and fat!
How dare you? Get out of here! Guards!
No, you can't do this! My candles!
So, what are you guys in for?
I was once a renowned journalist, known across the lands for my work, but that time is now over. Corrupted by the darkness of unjustified bias, I lost my credibility, my freedom, and worst of all, my paycheck.
Oh, yeah, that's bad. Well, I was applying to become a real knight, but I got rejected. The head knight said something about inexcusable evidence or reasoning, and I think he called me the worst applicant he'd ever seen. I knew I should just listen to my mom and gone back home.
I bought too many candles. I don't understand how this could have happened. How could I have messed up so badly?
I've been warned here for the past 60 years. And never before have I seen such an influx of linguistically challenged people. There's a legend that's been passed down through my people of a coming dark era, plagued by poor evidence. But 3 heroes, fallen from grace, will rise up, fight off the forces of poor evidence, and return peace to our kingdom. Sadly, you don't look much like heroes. Prove yourself in a battle of wits, and I'll bestow upon you my trust and your freedom. Do you recognize these abominations of evidence? Find your errors, and I will bestow you all of my intelligence.
I understand now that my argument with my supervisor was not very strong because of my fallacies. At first, I used a hasty generalization. Just because the castle smells bad doesn't mean I need to buy several thousand candles. Then, I used a straw man fallacy when I claimed that buying candles was like buying food, because those aren't really comparable. Afterwards, I used circular reasoning when I said they are necessary because I need them. Then I used a faulty analogy by comparing candles to feeding peasants. Finally, when I couldn't get my argument across, I switched to ad hominem to attack the other person, which not only didn't support my argument but also offended them, ending the argument. These all made my argument weak and insufficient.
I see where I went wrong. I was using pieces of evidence that should have only been for providing extra information and support in my article, but instead I inserted in my own opinion to each piece of evidence. I mentioned that it was the Lord's incompetency that caused him to lose his pet. That was not necessary to get the point of the article across and to notify the people of actual news. It was just my own opinion, which wasn't needed, and actually harmed the integrity of the article. In the second part, I neglected to mention the part of the king's decree where he stated that it was illegal for citizens over the height of 6'5" to ride in carriages anymore. That selection bias made it sound as though the king was only discriminating against short citizens, relaying inaccurate information to readers. Overall, anyone who read my article would have been deprived of factual news that they really needed to know about.
Now that you mention it, I do see where my faults in evidence could have been. The head knight did mention my unnecessary details, which fall under the category of faulty reasoning. Not only did I come to false conclusions, but I obviously applied incorrect inductive reasoning when I tried to make a generalization from my knight-worthy skills list that I should be a knight while the evidence I provided was so bad. I guess I could see how being a great dog walker and sword collector would not support my conclusion that I am the best candidate to be a knight. I should have probably tried to include some deductive reasoning instead, where I would make a claim and then use correct reasoning to support it. When I think about it, I do have a lot of experience evidence that would have helped my resume.
You proved your worth, my children. Sit down and let me tell you the story of our village. Long, long ago, there lived a nation together in harmony. But everything changed when the nation of poor evidence attacked. Their forces of improper bias overran our credible sources and implanted poor use of evidence as a societal norm within our kingdom. Even my own daughter succumbed to the darkness and failed her last reflection. You three must head north to the evil kingdom and return balance to the nations. You are our only hope.
You can count on us.
Ah, look yonder, a bridge! Maybe we'll be able to prove our bravery and fight off some trolls.
God, I hope not. I'd like this quest to go as smoothly as possible. No sword fighting for me.
What kind of a hero are you? No sword fighting? You won't get very far like that.
Like you can talk, Candle Boy.
How dare you?
Oh my god, you guys, just shut up, okay? I can't believe I'm stuck with two spineless idiots like you guys. Nope, no trolls it seems. Push on then.
Who dares cross my bridge?
Well, you weren't wrong about the trolls, I suppose.
Who are you and why are you blocking our path?
I'm the Baron of Bad Bias. You can't pass.
Why not? We simply wish to pass you.
I'm the Baron of Bad Bias. This is my bridge. I won't let anyone pass.
Why not? What's the point of the bridge then? Why not just block it off?
Shut up! You're a duke, aren't you? Typical royal scum.
What? How dare you?
I command you to let us pass at once.
I'm the Baron of Bad Bias. Never! I won't be letting the likes of you into my land.
What have you got against us, huh? What have we ever done to you?
I'm the Baron of Bad Bias. You knights are all the same. A knight once ran over my auntie with a car.
a car.
How can I trust you not to do the same?
What? That's preposterous. I don't even have a car.
Yeah, you can't just take what some random person did and automatically assume that applies to everyone.
Why not?
I'll tell you why. Yo, it's your boy, Big JJ, back at it again.
Wiki wiki woo!
Yo, I'm spitting these lines with a purpose in mind, guys. I got a lesson to teach you, and I hope that's not a crime. The guy's got bad bias, but don't worry, I know what to do. Come along with me and let's teach this food.
Wiki wiki woo!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! So you think you're so tough with those stupid knife puffs? Let me tell you, I can tell you, it's all just a bluff. I won't ever let you pass, cause now it's clear to me. A night hit my auntie with a car, now let me pound you 3.
So this guy won't let us pass because he got some preconceptions from the past, you see. His loving auntie died in a grammar car crash.
Whoop whoop! Grammar car crash. Whoop whoop! Grammar car crash.
Preconceptions, they're not fair to us all, you see. They fog up his opinions. They're his credibility downfall, undoubtedly. Burnt claims you can't ever forget. If you're not careful, you might get caught in the prejudice fishnet.
Whoop whoop! Prejudice fishnet. Whoop whoop! Prejudice fishnet.
Oh, the guy who wrote that paper on for you might have been an ex-garden hoe. Back to today, to here and now. We're being blocked by this Baron, so let's teach him how. Mr. Baron, your bias ain't fair, and it's hurting us now. Consider an unbiased opinion, or our fists are gonna go pow.
You knights, you showed me the light. You taught me the way is against my bad bias. I now realize that you're nothing like the knights who ran over my auntie with a car, and I shouldn't judge you just because you have the same profession. Here, take my sacred treasure. This piece of parchment will aid you along in your journey.
Bias in evidence is almost always unavoidable, but we can do our best to pick and choose evidence with minimal bias in it. Learning to identify bias is crucial in the process of finding evidence. You have to be sure that your evidence doesn't indirectly support one side of a controversy, and sometimes bias can be tricky to catch if the author deliberately decided to leave out certain pieces of data in order to make the evidence lean towards a certain position. This is called selection bias. There's also the issue of actively searching for evidence that supports previous opinions or thoughts. This is confirmation bias. Outliers is another common way of manipulating evidence. This is when an abnormal piece of data is presented as the average, giving off the wrong impression to the audience. Bias can have devastating effects on a piece of writing, such as a complete loss of credibility. Writing newspaper articles or pieces that are supposed to be objective with bias can seriously hurt the author's following, and leading the evidence to question whether or not the author can be trusted to report accurate, truthful findings. Here, the Baron had used a previous experience and tried to apply the same emotions and opinions he had had from that incident into the current situation. This led to him making a wrong assumption about the situation and making him out to be the fool. We should be very careful whenever approaching a new situation or hearing a new piece of evidence. Not only should we be looking out for bias that can contaminate the evidence, we also have to be sure not to implement our own bias on it, twisting it into something that it is not.
Wow, I sure am glad that there's no more foes to battle.
Don't be so sure, simpleton.
Yes, we have to start working together in order to defeat the Emperor.
I've done all the work so far. You two royals will never work together.
Aha! Stop! 'Tis I, the fear of foul fallacies. You shall travel no further on your conquest towards my emperor.
My name is Duke of Diction. You killed my evidence skills. Prepare to die.
Oh ha ha! You can only defeat me or die.
Perhaps we can reach some sort of agreement.
Oh ha ha! Someone who buys so many candles doesn't seem like they can hold their own in a debate.
Leave my candles out of this.
Besides, you're far too wimpy to defeat my emperor anyways.
Hey!
Sorry, you know, no one's ever tried to fight me in a battle before, and therefore I cannot be beaten.
I beg to differ.
Whoa!
I do not wish to kill you, Fuhrer, only to correct your extreme overuse of fallacies.
Thank you. I see now I cannot best you. Please, take this quill. It will aid you on your battle against the evil emperor.
The Führer was trying to argue that I was not powerful enough to defeat him and reach his emperor. However, he was not effective in his rhetoric because he used too many fallacies that I could not be fooled by. For example, he began with a false dilemma that one of us must die for us to pass. A false dilemma is when a speaker presents only two solutions with no possible alternative. However, We can clearly see that we found a middle ground where nobody died. He also used fallacies like strawman, in which a speaker uses a deliberately poor or oversimplified example in order to ridicule and refute an opponent's viewpoint, ad hominem, in which the speaker switches the argument from the topic at hand to the character of the other speaker, and ignorance, in which the speaker claims that because something has not been disproven that it is the case, all to try and divert attention away from the matter at hand. Fallacies are a trap that the audience can easily fall for if they don't stay focused on the actual issue. Fallacies fall under three main categories: relevance, accuracy, and insufficiency. Fallacies of relevance include red herrings, where the speaker diverts the topic onto something irrelevant, faulty analogies, where two things that are not alike are compared, and ad hominem, which has been previously discussed. These are meant to distract from the main argument so that the opposed viewpoint cannot accurately provide counter-arguments. Fallacies of accuracy include false dilemmas and strawman fallacies, both of which were used by the Führer. The purpose of these is to seemingly make an argument without proper knowledge or evidence and convince those who are ignorant of fallacies. Fallacies of insufficiency include hasty generalizations, in which the speaker does not provide enough evidence to support a particular conclusion, circular reasoning, in which the speaker repeats the claim to provide evidence leading to no evidence at all, and appeal to ignorance, which has also been discussed. These are made to create an argument where there is no evidence to provide, thus convincing ignorant listeners.
Onward!
Who dares cross the path of the great ruler of repulsive reasoning?
The three heroes of the square table. We are on the prophesied quest to defeat the great emperor of egregious evidence. You cannot stop us now.
Yeah, you can't stop us. Stop being a wimp and show yourself. Let me at him. I can take him.
You small creatures think you can beat me? I, the ruler of repulsive reasoning, will not let you cross this path and end the delicious turmoil the Emperor and I have been creating.
'Tis you, thou art the mighty ruler. I have battled far greater dragons and monsters in my day.
Fools! You think I can be defeated that easily? If you want to go through me, you must first prove your worthiness by answering the most difficult riddles ever created. Do not fret. Nobody has ever been able to answer correctly, so I suggest you either turn back now or prepare for total, utter humiliation.
Bring it on, you egg.
Calm down. We accept your challenge.
Alright, weaklings, the first riddle is not only a test of wit, but also of mind. Only the greatest intellectuals of this land have been able to solve it. 3 prisoners are in a cell and are blocked by a wall from another prisoner behind it. All prisoners can only see in the way that they are facing, but are able to communicate with each other. They know that 2 prisoners have white hats, while 2 prisoners have black hats. However, only the prisoner who is able to guess his own hat color will be freed. Which prisoner solves this riddle? Tick-tock, time is ticking.
Aha! I've got it. The answer is prisoner number 3. Prisoners 1 and 2, they can't see anything. Prisoner 4 can see that one has a white hat and one has a black hat, but he doesn't know which color his own hat is. Prisoner 3, in front of number 4, can see one white hat, but senses the hesitation of prisoner number 4, and therefore knows he and prisoner 2 must have different colored hats. Prisoner 3 is freed. He has a black hat.
Well, I was just warming you up. Anyone could solve that riddle. The second one is more impossible, for no mortal has ever found the answer. On an isolated island, an evil ruler is keeping 100 green-eyed prisoners captive. Every night, the prisoners are allowed to ask to leave the island, but are only allowed passage if they have green eyes and otherwise die. The prisoners themselves do not know they have green eyes and cannot communicate. They can see each other. One day, the prisoners are told that at least one of them has green eyes. How many days will it take for all of the prisoners to be released from the island?
Okay, we've got it. The answer is 100 nights exactly. After the 100th night passes, prisoners will have waited for the other members to leave the island because they know that the other members have green eyes. However, after no one has attempted to leave for 100 nights, they will figure out that everybody has green eyes because otherwise the members would have left and left the non-green-eyed members behind. Ah, repulsive ruler, we have cracked your riddles and defeated your wrath.
What? How? How did you do that? I can't believe I've been bested by the likes of you.
Why, ruler, anything is possible with the right amount of reasoning and effective thinking. Now it's your turn to uphold the bargain and set us free.
I guess a deal is a deal. Now that I see you deserve to defeat the mighty emperor, here. Take this magical ink with you. It'll aid you on your future literary endeavors.
It's important to remember, reasoning can make or break an argumentative essay. With the different reasoning skills I used here, I can write an essay that is not only persuasive, but also uses valid and coherent evidence. In the first riddle, I used my knowledge of deductive reasoning to solve the problem. Deductive reasoning, the progression of a big idea to a small one, is just like the prisoner in the riddle using the given information that 2 prisoners have white hats and 2 have black hats to come to the conclusion of what color his own hat is. You can also use reasoning like this to come to broader conclusions in your writing. This is called inductive reasoning, the concept of taking many small details and putting them together to come to a larger conclusion. In the second riddle, inductive reasoning exists in the form of creating a larger generalization. At least one prisoner has green eyes, from specific information provided to free the prisoners. Even better than utilizing these types of reasoning is being able to combine them with other types of evidence. For example, effective evidence usually falls in one of 7 categories that spell out the word CHELPS, CHELPSS. This stands for current events, history, experience, literature, pop culture, science, and sports. Whether from your favorite TV show or from breaking news segments, information that can be used as valid evidence is found everywhere. You can even apply deductive and inductive reasoning to conclusions you try to make with this evidence. Just stating information you found isn't enough. You always need to add argumentative commentary to make the evidence a convincing and cohesive part of your paper. But don't forget, it's important to check your sources and use data you know accurately supports your thesis.
I've been expecting you, knights of the square table.
Emperor of egregious evidence, your poor use of evidence has poisoned this land. Why must you do this?
Ha! You fools! I've taken advantage of my use of poor evidence to take over the minds of your weak civilians, and you're next. These days, people listen to anything.
Never defeat us. We will use our knowledge of accurate evidence and defeat thou and also liberate this land.
The gesture of journalism. With the power of this parchment and objectivity, I release you from the bind of bias. You will now be able to correctly identify correct, useful bias and reestablish your credibility.
I am the Duke of Diction. I hereby take away your fallacies, and with this powerful quill, I rid you of incorrect assumptions. May you never have another false statement in your evidence again and speak only the truth.
I am the Knight of Knowledge. I present you this magical ink and command you to stop using unnecessary and inaccurate reasoning. Only thorough and complete reasoning will now grace your writing.
Oh, man. I've been bested. But I must say, it was not for no reason. I too long ago was a young, ambitious language student, the brother of your king, the monarch of metacognition. But one day, it all went wrong.
But you look nothing like him.
Long ago, me and my brother were two peas in the pod, best friends. We did everything together. But one day, our mother tasked us with writing a speech to give to all of our people. And the day it came, my brother received cheers of adoration, while I, plagued with missing periods and conjugations, was cast aside. No one's favorite. But I wouldn't stand for this. I couldn't take it any longer. I stood up and I said no. So I wrote a new speech with fallacies, lies, and bias. I wrote this and I fooled the people. I poisoned their mind with lies for my own benefit. But now, I see that this is wrong, and I'm sorry.
We now understand that your bad evidence doesn't come from malice, but from ignorance, and we are deeply sorry for you.
Yes, ignorance is a prospect that can be fixed. We can help you.
Please, help us complete the final quest to write the holy essay. Join us, Emperor.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me another chance.
Look, the curse is lifted and Kamiakia is freed. We have fulfilled our prophecy.
And that, my friends, is how the heroes of the Square Table saved the land of Kamiakia from complete and utter literary doom. Don't forget, poor evidence can be fixed with just a little bit of knowledge. Just try your best and you will succeed. Thank you, heroes. The end.
There's your phone.
Are we done?
Yes, ma'am. It's still filming, Daniel. Join us, Emperor. Help us complete the quest.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ha! So,
Here and now, we're being blocked by this Baron.
let's tell him how. Stop! 'Tis I, the Fuhrer of foul fallacies. You will proceed no further on our journey.
Accurate. And I don't know the other word, darn it.
Still filming.
Shut up.
Shima, you can say that. Okay, Shima say.
I command you to give me this position. I deserve it.
Oh yeah? Make me. Oh wait, you
That's fine.
Oh wait, no, come back. I didn't click start.
Aren't you first?
No, it's bring it on you, eh?
I'm the Baron of Bad Bias. And on to what? No, it's not. Just make it. Just like take your pauses just to make it work together. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, I'm saying a lot now. I think I'm a rapper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
After the 100th night passes, the prisoner will. What are you doing?
Okay, so I was trying to say it's fine. It's fine.
Sorry, go ahead.